What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're here. Cobra Kai time, baby. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly, Karen, and go get some Movie Meals merch. It's all linked down in the description. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, comment, share. Go check out all the other videos we got on. We have a most anticipated of 2022. We had our best movies of 2021, which was a fun video to film. Kyle and I had some nice differences. Go check that out. Go check everything out. But here we're for Cobra Kai spoiler review for Netflix's Cobra Kai season 4, right? 4. Wow. 4.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it here. I'm clearly a huge fan of the franchise. I bought all 3 movies in college when we were rooming together freshman year. I bought all 3 movies on DVD. There was a little package, it was a special anniversary edition, and I opened it up. I didn't even read that this came with it. So I've had this a long time here. It's normally on the shelf over there, but today we got it. We got it on for Cobra Kai here for a little Miyagi-Do. So Kyle, what were your positives of this season?
My positive is that this show is still as great as it has been the last 3 seasons, man. These creators, these 3 guys, you can just tell they live and breathe Karate Kid. And it's just crazy how far it's come, because no one at the beginning thought that this was, any sort of potential to be any sort of anything. But somehow they're able to dig deep into the well, into the nostalgia of it all, but also within the subtlety of the messages and the stories that came with this small franchise, I guess is what you can kind of call it. And they're able to make something really special out of it. They were really able to make it a characters type show. They're able to really flesh out these characters who at first seem kind of two-dimensional, a bit quirky here and there, but they're able to really have them just be so three-dimensional to where we're having characters go from, the side of, the Miyagi teachings all the way to the side of Cobra Kai teachings, but it all feels organic and makes sense. I mean, we're seeing, and especially in this season, we're seeing kind of these students, all of them who are great characters to begin with, but they're kind of learning at the same time Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai or Eagle Fang, whatever they're calling it now. But it's kind of funny because the students or the kids are becoming more of the adults in this season. They're kind of realizing, hey, like both ways can work if utilized well in certain types of moments. While Danny and Johnny, we're still seeing them butt heads throughout the show and even in this season, just about as much as you would expect it to be. But there's still some good coming out of it. There's still some really interesting character development stuff going on, especially with I think Miguel and Robbie especially. Those 2 are now my favorite characters, and especially Miguel, played by Zolo. I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. Hopefully I got that right. But I think he was exceptional in this season. He really goes through some more quiet, nuanced arcs, but it's stuff that really was touching to me, and it really showed this kid's acting chops, to where I'm really excited to see where his career goes. But for right now, he's in Cobra Kai, and he's killing it, and all the other actors are killing it, and that's what I like. It's a very character-driven story when it's able to, and it's also able to use nostalgia very well at the same time. Alex, what about you? Are you feeling the same way?
You just sit here and you talk about all these people. Terry Silver is back, baby. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're going over the whole point of season 3 was to set
this is for you.
Terry,
this is for you.
Stop. You forgot. Terry Silver's back. I love this show.
Yeah.
I have loved the Karate Kid for a long time. It is honestly, the original Karate Kid is a 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. Honestly, the second one is a 10 out of 10 for me. I love both Karate Kids. They're think great. The third one is fun, but just, kind of the Back to the Future third one. It's fun, but not as good. The Hilary Swank one, I even think is good. The Jackie Chan one stinks. But no, it's horrible. You making a joke? Or you being serious?
I mean, I remember liking it when it first. I think we've had
go watch it now. Before, go watch them back to back. Watch the first Karate Kid, and then
I'm sure it's not good. For some reason I liked it. I'm sure it's not good now, but I'll continue to think that it's good.
Terry Silver's back from Karate Kid 3. I loved the way he's utilized everything Kyle said, I echo. The show is so fun. I like that we got a little bit away from the school. Last season, we were in the school a lot. And they're having all these brawls and stuff. Obviously, the ending of season 2's brawl. And I was glad we kind of stepped away from that. I like this bet, and it was really the whole season was training for this bet that they have.
See who's gonna be like the ultimate dojo, and who has to walk away from it all.
Yeah, and I liked going back to the All Valley because we hadn't been to the All Valley since season 1, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
The big ending of season 2 was the brawl in the school, and the big ending of this one was the brawl kind of creating the bet. So I think the show is just awesome. I mean, I watched the recap, and through the recap, I was like, let's go, boys. I was like, let's get them. I loved the team up. I loved that both Johnny and why can't I think of my boy Daniel? It's just because they call him LaRusso so much that I was sitting here trying to get the first name. That those two not only learned each other's techniques, they got a day to really show each other how they, where their fighting ability comes from, but they teamed up. The kids teamed up. They kind of go back and forth between dojos. Some get a chance. And I liked that for this season. It's personally not something I want to see continue. Kyle and I were kind of talking about that earlier today, but I like that they kind of have their dojo. They kind of have their gang. It kind of feels like a gang war. And I like that feeling, but I like that these two gangs, come together for a common enemy. That's what I liked about this season. And it gave Daniel and Johnny so much development for how they are going to progress moving forward. Same with all the other characters. I like that the result at the end was, be you. Both styles. Do what you think in the moment is best. Which style do you need to use? And that's, as a fan of martial arts, I've always loved martial arts and things like that, and watching fights, and it's cool to see that. It's cool to see them have these different techniques and these different ways that offense and defense, you need both. You need both. You can't just have one. And I loved it. I loved the Terry Silver stuff. I thought his addition coming back was great. I loved the ending with how it ends with Kreese. I just love all of it there. It was just so good. And I loved the tease at the end. I loved it. These guys, Kyle said it. These guys know Karate Kid. And we've been kind of wondering, will Hilary Swank show up? Some people here think that maybe Jackie Chan or Jaden Smith will show up. I don't want any of that. But I would love Hilary Swank to show up. And, at that scene where he's talking to Miyagi's grave. And I thought, I was texting Kyle this earlier today, I thought that might be Hilary Swank, that she might show up and be like, oh, what are you? Who are you? Because they've never met. And, them talking, be like, oh, he trained another student. Well, I could use your help. But instead, we get our boy though. We get our boy. When he showed up, I lost it. I absolutely lost it because he's our boy. And what he is he was aggression, and he learned Miyagi-Do from why can't I remember who his sensei was in relation to Mr. Miyagi? I can't remember. I think they were friends. Were they just friends?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember now myself.
I believe they were
we call
friends.
Ourselves fans.
But he learned both sides. He taught Danielson something, last season. And I think him being brought in is a great addition. I need your help. You will run Miyagi-Do. Let me help you. Let's train these kids up the right way. I loved it. Sorry, I went on a big tangent. What thoughts?
No, I agree with you about Terry Silver's return. I honestly was I shouldn't be surprised at this point with how well this show is, but I was really surprised by the utilization, because at first it does trick you in the first episode. You really think that he's gone on a better path and he's much more of a better person than he was in his coked up 80s. But they're able to unlock that about him, and he slowly grows back into the character that we knew from him in Karate Kid Part 3. But then, he's able to twist the knife, and he's able to backstab, and he just is now like the main villain, it seems like. And I thought it was the most interesting stuff between the two villains, because you think at first one's going to be towering over the other, but then it's like a reversal effect. And there still is like some character moments to where they feel like they have to be, connected because of what happened to them in the war. And there's just this great power dynamic that I thought was just utilized so well in this show.
What's something they do in this show that I think is interesting because, I just got done, I think you did as well, watching Warrior a couple months ago on HBO, and that the fight scenes in there are insane. I mean, they're insane. They're some of the best fights I've ever seen. And Cobra Kai's fighting definitely is not the greatest, fighting matches you've ever seen. But something they do that I want to give these guys credit for is they add slow-mo in interesting spots. So that way, when the fight is happening at normal speed, they'll switch between slow-mo, normal, slow-mo, more normal. And they'll do kind of the slow-mo on these bigger, like really intense moves they do. But when they do that constant switchback, something I noticed is that it makes it feel like it's a little faster than it is because they are fighting slower. They are doing it a little bit more like a dance. And you can tell, I mean, there are times that it's like clearly, punch here, block here, it's pretty, you can tell the choreography, but I like the way they have edited and shot it because that blending of going between slow-mo or not makes it feel like the whole thing is in slow motion and I'm just watching this fight go slower than it should be. And I think that's a clever thing that I have not really noticed as much until this season, but it was just so good. It was so good. And I can't wait to see where we go from here. I'm so glad Netflix picked this show up because they're throwing some good money behind it and they're allowing it to flourish in a way I think YouTube might've been hindered to, but other thoughts you got here?
I do want to say that probably one of my small negatives about this season was because I was really hoping that the team up of Danny and Johnny would really happen throughout the whole season. But in the first half, they team up, and then the second half, they go back to the thing where they split apart and they're like, "You're different from me. I'm right. You're wrong." And the outcome of the season, especially in the finale, like you get the point that they're trying to make it this season, and it still sticks to landing to me. I just would have liked to see them still continue to team up and still learn that lesson and still have the same outcome if possible, only because the last 3 seasons, while it all has been great, I've seen that dynamic already in the past 3 seasons, and I'm just ready for a new type of relationship or a new type of dynamic between the two of them. And I thought that we were really in for something pretty good at the first half of the season, but then they went away from it. And I was a bit bummed by it, but like I said, the results still worked out very well to where I'm okay with it, but just would have been something I would have liked otherwise.
So you're saying the dynamic of the past 3 seasons you've seen is the like, will they be friends, won't they be friends kind of thing?
Yeah, will they realize like one's not better than the other? And no, I'm still fine with them being like, still butting heads because it's really good stuff. Not only is it funny,
they ended
but it's
on
also
a positive
great.
note.
They did, yeah, but I just felt like, and that ending still could have been there. I just would have liked to see them continue to team up and try to get along to lead to that throughout the whole season and not do that breakup in the middle of it. And like I said, it still worked well, don't get me wrong, but it's just something different that I think I'm really ready for. And I hope that they really do it more in this next season as compared to how they did here.
See, for me, this season, what it was is the transition of these guys are really not going to be enemies anymore. They will probably have their little back and forths, but I like that this season, they tried and they have a conversation about it is what I love so much is they sit at the bar and they're like, we can't do this. And they're giving up. They give up so fast. And it's so true to who both of them are throughout their, all the way back to the 80s to now. And I love that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be friends. I don't want them to team up and have one Miyagi Hawk dojo. I think that is really would be a bad idea. I think to keep this kind of gang war, the we have to team up common enemy thing, I think is way more interesting than them just doing. For me, I don't want to watch another 5 episodes of them kind of being like, you're too aggressive. I'm not. Well, we found the balance. We got to find it again. We found it. Let's move on for me. So I'm just pumped for this next season. I don't have a nitpick. The show is awesome. All the show made me want to do is start Karate Kid, watch 1, 2, 3, and 4 just in case, and then rewatch the whole show. And it's something I'm gonna do soon, I think, here. But I love this show. It is so good. If you were a fan at all on any level of the Karate Kid back in the day, you should absolutely rewatch him and then get on Cobra Kai if you haven't, because Cobra Kai is so good, so good. Any other final thoughts? Or are we wrapping up here?
It was great to see Paul Walter Hauser show up again.
He
I
did show
love him
up.
as an actor. He's awesome. But that's
Yeah.
my final piece. This show is great. It's awesome.
Yeah, he was utilized well in this episode, in this season. So yeah, guys, if you haven't seen the show, please go watch it. It's so good. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you, Moon Meal patrons. And comment below. I want to know what you thought of this season. What you're thinking of Cobra Kai and all that stuff. So do that. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.